Hey Cowboys Nation, let's break down everything happening with the Dallas Cowboys right now. Because there is so much going on behind the scenes that can completely change the trajectory of this team in the upcoming season right now. There's a lot of chatter about salary cap space, and some people are making it sound like the Cowboys are strapped or limited. But the reality is much different. There are ways to unlock massive amounts of cap space. And we're talking numbers that could reach near $100 million, which is huge in today's NFL. That kind of space could finally allow Dallas to aggressively pursue free agency and bring in key pieces to compete for a championship. And that is the goal here, not just finishing with 9 or 10 wins every year, but building a roster capable of going all the way. The first thing to understand is that the Cowboys' current cap situation is often misunderstood. According to the latest figures, they're somewhere around $32 million in the negative. If you look at a standard cap tracker, some of that is just a projection difference, and the final number is not set in stone yet. But even with that in mind, there are several mechanisms built right into player contracts that allow for reshaping the cap without changing the core structure of the team. These are called simple restructures, and they can be triggered in the off-season without the need for major renegotiations with the players. In essence, they allow the Cowboys to free up enormous sums of money by adjusting how bonuses and salaries are allocated over the coming seasons. It is an incredibly strategic approach and something that smart front offices have been using across the league for years. Let's talk specifics. Dak Prescott, for instance, has a contract that is structured in such a way that a simple flip or restructure could save nearly $31 million against the cap. That's a massive chunk right there. Then you have CeeDee Lamb, whose max restructure could generate around $19 million. There are also key pieces like Tyler Smith, Osa Odigizua, Don Bland, and even some of the younger contributors like Jake Ferguson, who, through similar moves, can collectively free up nearly $93 million in cap space. The beauty of these moves is that they don't require cutting any of the core talent. They are just about using the financial tools embedded in their existing contracts. It's a combination of strategy, timing, and understanding the way the NFL calculates its salary cap. When done correctly, this opens up the flexibility to target impactful free agents without completely overhauling the roster. Now, the Cowboys also have the option to make additional moves if they want to push that cap space even higher, cutting certain players, restructuring contracts, and extending top performers like Kenny Clark or Quinn Williams can add another $30 million or so to the total, depending on how aggressive the team wants to be. It's not guaranteed that every option will be exercised, but the potential is there. This means that even if the official numbers look tight at the moment, the Cowboys could realistically have between $50 to $60 million or possibly more available to invest in free agency. That kind of money opens the door to signing a handful of high-impact players rather than needing to fill the roster with numerous smaller moves for a team with championship aspiration. That flexibility is priceless. It's also important to note that not all of the cap space is immediately liquid. Some of it involves post-June 1st designations or draft pick rollovers, which simply means the money is allocated strategically over time. But the overall takeaway is clear. The Cowboys are not constrained in the way many analysts suggest. Their core roster, including the defensive line, secondary, and skill positions, has room to breathe financially, and there are clear paths to strengthening the team this offseason. There is enough money to pay existing players, retain essential talent, and still make key additions that could push the roster to a Super Bowl level. The flexibility comes from smart management of contracts, restructuring guaranteed money, and selectively extending or releasing players where it makes sense. The defensive line is a prime example. The room currently features players like Quinn Williams, Kenny Clark, and Osa Odigizua. Through restructures and extensions, you can lock in top-tier talent while still creating significant cap room. If the Cowboys choose to extend their top defensive tackles and backload their contracts, they could save as much as $30 million, all while keeping the group intact. The alternative, cutting some of these players, would also free up money, but it comes at the expense of proven talent. The team's decision-making here will be critical, balancing immediate financial flexibility with long-term roster stability. In other words, they have options, and none of them involve sacrificing their core strength. In terms of offensive flexibility, players like Dak Prescott and CeeDee Lamb are central to any cap strategy. Prescott's contract which is designed with a somewhat unusual structure, allows the Cowboys to lower his cap hit this year without affecting his long-term value. CeeDee Lamb's restructure follows the same principle. The key is understanding that these moves are built into the contracts themselves. They are not risky gambles. They are anticipated tools for front offices to navigate the complexities of modern NFL payrolls, along with the other strategic moves. These adjustments could create a total cap flexibility exceeding $100 million if the Cowboys choose to be extremely aggressive. Though realistically, even achieving $50 to $60 million provides enough room to make meaningful roster improvements, and it is not just about creating space, it is about using it wisely. Dallas has several holes to address, particularly on defense, where depth and impact players are needed to compete with the elite teams in the league. The goal cannot be just to coast through the season with 9 or 10 wins. Championship aspiration demand bold decisions, and the Cowboys have all the tools to make those decisions financially feasible. They can sign a few high-impact free agents to key positions without dismantling what they already have. The combination of restructures, selective cuts, and strategic extensions gives them options that are rare in today's NFL, especially for a team that has already invested heavily in its core talent. To sum up the current landscape, the Cowboys are far from being financially constrained. They have mechanisms to free up tens of millions of dollars, both through internal contract restructuring and smart extensions or releases. The cap space can be pushed toward a figure that allows for meaningful acquisitions in free agency, while retaining the top performers who have driven their recent success. The strategy revolves around timing, planning, and understanding the cap's nuances. And if executed correctly, it positions Dallas to truly compete in the championship window. The team's front office has a chance to be aggressive and strategic, creating one of the most flexible financial situations in the league, while still keeping a roster capable of contending at the highest level. Now that we've laid out the ways the Cowboys can unlock significant cap space, let's dive into how that space can actually be deployed to reshape the roster. Creating room on the salary cap is only half the battle. The real question is how to use it effectively. To improve the team, Dallas has several critical areas that need attention, and the moves they make in free agency this offseason could define their championship window for years to come. The strategy doesn't need to involve signing a dozen players or completely overhauling the roster. Instead, it's about targeting a few high-impact players who can immediately elevate the team in key positions, especially along the defensive front and in the secondary, where depth has been a recurring issue. Defensively, the Cowboys' top priority has to be reinforcing the line and linebacker cores. Players like Quinn Williams, Kenny Clark, and Osa Odigizua anchor the interior, but the team needs complementary pieces to create pressure and stop the run consistently. With the cap flexibility from restructures and extensions, Dallas has the ability to either extend these core players and free up additional space, or add external talent to pair alongside them. The smart approach would be a combination of both, securing the top defensive tackles with extensions while adding a couple of free agents who can immediately contribute. This creates a balanced roster that doesn't sacrifice long-term stability for short-term gains. Essentially, the Cowboys can protect their foundational pieces while also improving weak spots in a strategic, cost-effective manner. On offense, the primary focus is maintaining continuity while adding skilled players who can make an immediate difference. Dak Prescott's contract restructuring frees up a substantial portion of cap space, but it is important that this space is not just used to throw money at quantity. The Cowboys have a handful of elite playmakers, and adding one or two complementary talents, whether a dynamic receiver, a versatile tight end, or an additional running back, could provide the kind of impact that elevates the entire offense. The beauty of this offseason is that the Cowboys have both the money and the roster foundation to make smart, targeted acquisitions. Rather than chasing depth alone, it's about upgrading in spots that will directly influence wins and postseason success. Another aspect to consider is the timing of cap-related moves. Post-June 1st designations, rollover funds, and draft pick allocations all factor into how quickly space becomes usable. While some of the cap space will not be immediately available, strategic planning allows the team to align these numbers with free agency windows and draft needs. For instance, certain post-June 1st cuts could free up additional money that can then be used to bring in a mid-tier free agent who might not have been affordable otherwise. Likewise, Careful management of draft pick funds ensures that rookies can be added without negatively impacting the ability to sign experienced veterans. The combination of timing, restructures, and selective extensions provides Dallas with a unique advantage that other teams may not have. Special teams and kicker or punter positions also factor into the cap equation. While it may seem minor compared to the high-profile skill and defensive positions, every position has a cap impact. The Cowboys can evaluate options for cost-efficient contributors while still investing in areas of high return on investment. For example, making sure that the punter or kicker is paid appropriately, but not overvalued, ensures that the team doesn't lock up funds unnecessarily. In a league where the difference between making the playoffs and winning a championship can be a few plays, having financial flexibility to address every position matters. That's why cap strategy is not just numbers on paper, it directly translates to what the team can do on the field. The franchise tag situation with players like George Pickens is another important consideration. If the Cowboys can negotiate an extension instead of relying on a franchise tag, the cap impact can be dramatically reduced while providing the player with long-term security. Well-structured extension might carry a cap hit significantly lower than the franchise tag number, while also giving the team predictability in future seasons. The same principle applies to other key contributors who might be nearing the end of their current contracts. Properly managing these situations ensures that the team doesn't get trapped financially while still retaining the players who are integral to their success. The overall takeaway from all of this is that the Dallas Cowboys have an unprecedented opportunity this offseason. Between simple restructures, selective cuts, extensions, and smart cap planning, the team has the ability to create a highly competitive roster without overcommitting or sacrificing long-term stability. Even if the full theoretical cap space of $100 million is not fully realized, a realistic target of $50 to $60 million provides ample room to make meaningful moves in free agency. This could include acquiring top-tier talent on defense, bolstering the offensive skill positions, or addressing depth in key rotational roles. It's a chance to truly upgrade the roster in a way that aligns with championship aspiration. Historically, the Cowboys have sometimes been cautious with free agency, prioritizing stability over aggressive acquisitions. This year presents a unique window, however, where the combination of contract tools, cap space, and roster needs aligns perfectly for bold moves. By targeting impactful players who fill critical gaps, Dallas can take a step beyond the usual 9 or 10-win seasons and position themselves as legitimate contenders. The goal is clear: championship contention. The resources are available. The strategy is in place. What remains is execution. How aggressively the team decides to pursue free agents, manage contracts, and navigate the salary cap will define the success of this offseason. But before we continue, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. Your support helps us keep bringing you the latest updates on the Dallas Cowboys. Feel free to share your thoughts on the news in the comments as well. In a move that has sent shockwaves through the NFL rumor mill, whispers are emerging that Stephon Gilmore could be making a sensational return to the Dallas Cowboys, potentially stepping in as the undisputed leader of their defense. The veteran cornerback, known for his lockdown coverage and championship pedigree, has been linked to a reunion with the franchise where he first made waves as a dominant defensive presence. Sources close to the situation hint that the Cowboys are looking to reshape their secondary with experience and swagger, and few players fit that mold better than Gilmore. Insiders suggest that team management sees Gilmore not just as a player, but as a mentor for younger defenders, someone capable of transforming a group of talented athletes into a cohesive, intimidating unit. His ability to read offenses, anticipate routes, and force turnovers is well documented, and many speculate that his presence could elevate Dallas's defensive scheme to an entirely new level. While no official statements have been made, social media chatter and cryptic comments from former teammates have fueled speculation that Gilmore's return might be closer than anyone expects. Analysts are already debating the potential impact on the Cowboys' defensive identity. Could Gilmore's veteran leadership finally provide the consistency that has eluded the secondary in recent seasons? With a roster that blends rising stars with seasoned contributors, the addition of a player of his caliber could be the missing piece in a defense hungry for dominance. Fans are buzzing with excitement at the mere thought of seeing Gilmore patrolling the backfield again, and merchandise speculation is already picking up steam. Of course, In the world of NFL rumors, nothing is guaranteed. Contract negotiations, cap space considerations, and other league dynamics could all influence the outcome. Yet, the allure of a high-profile reunion between Gilmore and the Cowboys is tantalizing enough to keep the rumor mill running hot. Whether this move materializes or remains a what-if, the speculation alone has reignited discussions about the Cowboys' defensive future and the kind of statement they could make. With one of the league's premier cornerbacks back in the fold, that's it for this update. If you enjoyed the video and want to keep receiving exclusive news about the Dallas Cowboys, please subscribe to our channel and give this video a like. We always look forward to your comments and opinions. See you in the next video.